5 Days of Silence, a 1-hour narrative by journalist John L. Farmer Iantiro. The calm before the decision. My name is John L. Farmer, journalist out of Cleveland, Ohio. And tonight we are standing in the middle of history again. Not the kind you read about years later in textbooks. Not the kind cleaned up and simplified. No, this is the kind that's still breathing. Still dangerous. Still unfolding. Because somewhere across the ocean, between oil fields, warships, satellites, and silence, a decision was made. A pause. 5 days. And in global politics, 5 days can mean the difference between peace and something the world can't come back from. Chapter 1. The announcement. It came suddenly. President Donald Trump stepped forward and told the world he was delaying strikes on Iran's energy infrastructure, power plants, oil facilities, the backbone of a nation's survival. 5 days. Not cancellation, not peace. Just 5 days. He called the talks very good and productive. But even in that moment, something didn't sit right. Because Iran said something very different. They said, there were no talks. Chapter 2. 2 stories. One world. You ever notice how in war, truth splits in two? On one side, Washington says progress is being made, conversations are happening, peace might be near. On the other side, Tehran says, nothing happened, no negotiations, no agreement, no conversations at all. Just pressure, just threats, just a global game where perception matters as much as reality. And that's where things get dangerous. Because when truth becomes flexible, decisions become unpredictable. Chapter 3. The strait that controls the world. Let me explain something real simple. There's a place called the Strait of Hormuz. Narrow stretch of water. Doesn't look like much on a map, but nearly a fifth of the world's oil flows through it. And right now, it's been threatened, blocked, controlled. That's not just a regional issue. That's gas prices in Cleveland. That's jobs in Detroit. That's economies shaking from Tokyo to London. And that's why this moment matters. Chapter 4. The threat that came before the pause, before the 5 days. There was a warning, a 48-hour ultimatum. Open the strait, or we hit everything. Energy plants, power grids, infrastructure, total shutdown. That's not just military strategy. That's economic warfare. That's telling a nation, we won't just fight your army. We'll turn off your lights. Chapter 5. What war looks like in 2026. This isn't the wars our grandparents knew. No trenches. No clear front lines. This is digital, economic, aerial. Missiles guided by satellites. Drones controlled from continents away. Cyber attacks that shut down entire cities without firing a single bullet. And yet, people still die. Over 2,000 lives already lost in this conflict. And that number doesn't tell you the full story. It never does. Chapter 6. The global reaction. The moment Trump announced that 5-day pause, markets reacted instantly. Oil prices dropped fast, nearly 10%. Stocks jumped. Investors exhaled. Because for a second, just a second, the world thought, maybe this won't escalate. But markets don't measure truth. They measure hope, and hope can be wrong. Chapter 7. The politics of timing. Now let's talk about timing. Why 5 days? Not 3, not 10. 5. Long enough for negotiations. Short enough to keep pressure. It's strategy. A signal to Iran. We're willing to talk, but we're still ready to strike. But it's also a signal to the world. We're in control, even if control is slipping. Chapter 8. The Middle East chessboard. This isn't just the US and Iran. Not even close. You've got Israel still striking targets. You've got countries like Oman, Turkey, Egypt trying to mediate. You've got global powers watching, calculating, waiting, because every move here echoes everywhere. Chapter 9. The possibility of miscalculation. Here's the real fear. Not intentional war, but accidental escalation. A misread signal, a delayed response, a commander who acts too fast, or a leader who waits too long. Because once missiles start flying, there's no pause button. No 5-day extension. Chapter 10. What the 5 days really mean. People hear 5 days and think relief. But I see something else. I see a countdown, not to peace, but to a decision. Because if talks fail, those strikes don't disappear. They just get delayed. Chapter 11, the human cost behind the headlines. We talk about oil. We talk about strategy. We talk about negotiations. But behind all that are people. Families in Tehran, wondering if the lights will go out permanently. Workers in oil fields who don't know if tomorrow they'll have jobs. Or targets on their backs. And soldiers, on both sides, waiting for orders that could change their lives forever. Chapter 12. A journalist's perspective. I've covered stories like this before. Different countries, different names, same pattern. Build tension, issue threats, hint at peace, prepare for war. And every time, people hope this one will end differently. Chapter 13. The question nobody can answer. So here's the question nobody can answer. Are these talks real? Or are they strategy? Are they progress? Or just delay? Because even now, we don't know. And that uncertainty is the most dangerous part of all. Final chapter, 5 days that could change everything. 5 days. That's all the world has been given. 5 days to negotiate. 5 days to de-escalate. 5 days to avoid something irreversible. But history has shown us, peace isn't built on deadlines, and war doesn't wait for permission. So as I stand here, watching headlines change by the hour, I can only tell you this: we are not watching the end of a conflict. We are watching the middle of it. And 5 days from now, the world could look very different. Outro diz is João Farmer, reporting not just on what's happening, but on what might happen next. Because in times like these, the story isn't finished. It's just paused for 5 days.